Hello, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, I'm Tando, and actually, the only reason why I've started introducing myself, because I didn't, if you've been here from the beginning, you know that I haven't been introducing myself, but I've come to realize that a lot of people just call me hawemuurhh, and not because that's the common way for them to refer to me, but they actually really don't know my name, and I'd like you guys to know my name. So my name is Tando. So hi, Tando. Yes, right. And if you are new here, please subscribe. Thank you guys so much for subscribing last week when I uploaded my how to take pictures video. Think we're on a good track actually to 1,000 subscribers. Then after that we're gonna work towards monetization, but I'm not gonna bore you with those details until we get there. So yeah, thank you so much for watching last week's video, and I'm sure you're anticipating this week's video about how to edit your pictures that you may have taken last week or during the course of this week. So now I'm going to teach you how to edit those pictures. So I will not be in the video myself specifically. My phone will be on the screen as to not distract you guys from what is at hand. But there are two things that I really want you guys to take note of, and it's one, I am trying to get you guys to develop your own editing style. So I need you to focus on what I'm saying rather than what I am doing. And then two, don't focus too much on the phone and trying to copy what I'm doing. It leads back to the other point of that I'm trying to get you guys to develop your own editing style. So just take note of the technique, the features on the apps or on your phone, and that will essentially be the core of this video. Because one thing is, we all have different Instagram feeds, or we like different things about pictures. So I, for one, do not have an aesthetic on my Instagram, but there is a particular way in how I like to edit my pictures. So I also want you guys to develop your particular way or style of editing. And I will include some tips for people who like a more curated aesthetic feed, but the video is geared to more towards people who don't have an aesthetic, or people who want to just develop their own editing style. So yeah, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. If you haven't watched last week's video, please rather watch last week's video first, then come back to this one. So if you weren't here last week, haven't watched last week's video, I'm gonna link it up here or up here and in the description box so that you can have a look at that video before you come back here and figure out how to edit pictures you already have. Get me? Got me? All right, we're good. Now let's start the actual video. First of all, I'm going to show you my Instagram page. Here it is, so that you have an idea of what I mean by no aesthetic. And literally, if you look through my page, there's nothing distinct that says to you, okay, this is how she edits her page, but I do have a style of editing, and you'll see as this video progresses. And also, if you're not following me on Instagram, please do. Here it is. If you like it, go do the things. Cool. These are my editing apps. I actually have quite a few, but honestly, I literally only use Facetune, Lightroom, and the native photo app. So I've created a folder in order to do this tutorial easier. So one of the first rules of editing almost has nothing to do with editing. And I'm sure you've heard this time and time again, but it's because it's literally that important. You need to take a good picture. That's the first thing. And a good picture comprises of many things, but one of the most critical things about a good picture is, one, it should be framed well. So the composition of the picture matters so much. Two, it has to be well lit. Literally, the lighting has to be good for your picture to look good. And then third of all, it must be a picture that you're happy with. It should be a picture where you don't leave all the work up to editing. It should be a matter of editing is to level it up, but you're happy with the picture as it is. So one thing that I want to stress on is the composition, and in this instance, I'm talking about framing. So no shade to the person who took the picture if you're watching, so sorry. But this is a poorly framed picture. By poorly framed, I mean that as soon as I open up this picture, I'm sure you had to search for me. As opposed to your eye being directed to me immediately. So in the previous video, I did show you guys those 9 boxes. Here they are again. And these literally help you with framing of your picture. So this is why I advise that when you're taking a picture, these are turned on. It's basically following the rule of thirds, which means that there are boxes that intersect here. The lines intersect. And that's where you're supposed to place the subject in order for your eye to immediately be drawn to the subject, basically. And no matter how I go about it, I just can't seem to find myself in those intersections. Well, here I do, but I mean, who posts a picture like this? You can already tell it's displeasing. And if I were to crop this picture this much as I do appear in the intersections, the quality has been greatly diminished. So just frame the picture correctly from the get-go. This, however, is a well-framed picture. I'm smack bang in the middle, first thing you see when you open up the picture. And we're happy with this one. Cool. So now, after that little framing lesson, I'm going to show you my process of editing, which almost always starts with Facetune. So here we are on Facetune. So I'm just going to call out a couple of things about Facetune. So this is a free app, and I know it's available on Apple devices. I'm not too sure about Android, but I believe it should be available there too. I know there's a paid version of Facetune, but I've never had to purchase Facetune. Maybe it's because I got it long ago, I don't know. But as far as I know, this app is free. There are additional tools which I don't think that you will need, that you need to pay for, but I've done well without them, so I'm just gonna get into it. So I normally use Facetune for retouching. So this baby right here, and I use the whitening tool, the smoothing tool, details tool, and every now and again I use the B&W tool, and basically those are the only tools that I use. So we'll edit this picture together. So you need to zoom all the way in to your face. See, now you can see all my imperfections. There we go. Right, so I click onto the smoothing tool, and then I start tapping, not rubbing like this. No, it's too much. So undo that, you tap. So that gives you a more like natural smooth. Not that smoothing is natural, but I mean, it retains some of the texture of your skin, right? So I just tap into my skin multiple times, zooming in and out so that I edit everywhere, don't miss any spots. And then I zoom out to see if I feel like it's just right and not overdone. I'm happy with this smoothing, so now I go into the whitening tool. I'll also normally use this for my teeth, but I'm not smiling here, so I'm just going to whiten my eyes so that I can look more alive, more awake. I also use the whitening tool to almost brighten up the highlight on my face. So let me bump up the white a little bit more so that my eyes are a lot brighter, and then I will tap where I have highlighter a little bit just to make it shine a bit more. I'll even use it in the corner of my eye sometimes to just make it pop, right? These are subtle changes, but I promise you, editing really is in the details. Cool. Then I will go to the detail tool, and then I'll go and just basically sharpen parts that I want to be sharpened in the picture. So I'll do that with my lashes. If my brows were showing, I would do it, but I'll just sharpen out this fringe. And then I normally go out, and then I really want myself to stand out from the background, but instead of blurring out the background more, what I do is I tend to detail the edges of myself or whatever I'm wearing so that it really separates me from the rest of the picture. Let me detail this anklet that I'm wearing as a bracelet that I got from my best friend. I'll outline just the rest of my body, really. And then I also like outlining my chin or jawline just to make it seem like that much sharper. And then basically we're done here. So I'm going to edit it with the iPhone photo app, just those native photo settings. So I'm just gonna click yes, save the picture, and open it up in my photo app. So here are all the photo app settings: auto, exposure, brilliance, blah 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 blah. Here they are at your disposal for free, right? So I did mention that I have a style of editing, right? So this style involves messing around with exposure. Never mess with the brightness, purely because I almost always take well-lit pictures, so I'm always happy with the brightness. And when I take my pictures too, I try to lock in the focus or autofocus. So what I'll normally do here is work with black point right here. So I like my colors to be rich and to be bold. So I'll almost always, you see, it makes the picture brighter or like overcast and then darker. So I like my blacks black, right? So I will up the black point quite a bit until it's still black, but like a natural kind of black, not too overbearing. Then I will go to my contrast and bump, just looking for the right setting. I'm happy with that. And then I'll go to exposure. This makes it brighter, and I'll take my exposure down quite a bit. And once I'm done with those edits, I'll normally just go to vibrance and saturation and see which one works for me. So I like my skin to appear rich, you know, with color. So I'll up the saturation and the vibrance just a little bit. And I'm more or less really happy with this picture. And when it comes to saturation, if you're a person who has a more curated feed, you'd be friends with saturation but desaturating. So if you want your grays, your whites, you would desaturate a picture, not increase the saturation. So I'm happy with this picture, done. And then I'll show you the before and after. Cool? Great. So we're here on Facetune again, so I can just show you some other tools and tricks that are on this app. So I'm just going to breeze past the other parts that I'd shown you, like smoothing, detailing, etc. Guys, you see how cracked my lips are? So embarrassing more. Okay, so what I want to show you is this paint feature. So what I sometimes do here is fix a couple of things if I don't feel like they appear bold enough. So what I'll do is go to the paint feature, go to tone, and pick the color that I want to use. So in this instance, it's the black. So I want to use the black because my top is see-through, right? But I don't want it to look as see-through as it is because my hair is like a tad bit darker. So what I'll then do is I'll just paint over the black to just make it darker. Do you see that? Let me zoom in. Before, after. Before, after. So I'll do that on like the rest of the t-shirt, and I'm not mindful of where I'm tapping purely because it doesn't really obscure the other colors because it's tone. So it's almost like a translucent. You're so upset. Why is there so much noise? So as I was saying, I'm not too fragile about where I'm tapping purely because it won't distort the other colors, because this tone tool is basically a translucent color. It's not a solid color. So it won't distort the reds and the golds in my top. Before, after, you see. What I want to show you guys is my lashes. See there? They were dirty and had some leftover glue and eyeshadow and stuff like that, like ew. But in order for you to not see this when I post it, what I do is zoom right into my eye, still using the black tone tool. Just going to decrease it a bit so I don't make a mess. And then I start to tap on my lash line. Okay, it seems like this color is not dark enough, so I'm gonna put it back up. And then I just tap on my lash line to just hide it. It doesn't completely hide it, but it does a good job, you see. Before, after, before, after. Zoom out, it just seems like my lashes and my eyes just seamless. So I'll do that on the other eye as well. Perfect. I don't like how the background is like uneven shades of yellow. So I will go to retouch, I'll go to B and W, and then I just color in my background to make it gray so that it does not take away from the main image. And I did mention in last week's video that simple backgrounds that don't take away from the subject are the best kind of backgrounds. So that's what I'm doing. You should probably zoom in, see, but this is what the erase tool is for, so I'd rather be messy when I'm first like coloring in and then zoom in with the erase tool and just fix. So we're done here. I'm just going to take this picture to Lightroom now. Okay, so we're in Lightroom now, and here are the tools that I normally use. So actually almost all of them. So I use light, I use color, yeah. Kandi, what does do not disturb do? With light, I do more or less the same thing that I showed you that I use on the native photo app. So I'll normally decrease the exposure. You see just how that added that little bit of pop to my skin. So look, before, after. So I like to look like I'm dark because I am. I play around with the contrast. Sometimes want to seem like that, sometimes like this. Okay, so I like it a little bit more. I normally don't play around with highlights or shadows, but I will play around with blacks because I like my blacks to be black. So I tend to decrease my blacks quite a bit, and then I go to color. So depends on my background. If my background isn't wiped out like this one, I'll normally use temperature to either make it warmer or colder. So you see, but here I'll just leave it at normal. Want to make the pink of my eyes pop a bit more, so I'll go directly to color mix, then the pink, then just bump that baby up. Okay, it seems like it's not responding to the pink, so let me try red. Yeah, there we go. Like the red more. Go to purple a bit and just bump it up a little bit, just to make that eye look pop out a little bit more. And then my jeans are a little bit too blue for my liking, and they're distorting the picture for me, so I'm literally just gonna dial down the blue. Done, I'm finished. This picture is completely edited, and here is the before, and here is the after. Okay, so we're back in Lightroom again, and I just want to show you one other feature. So I've done all the face tuning, etc, etc. Go to just the color here and up the vibrance. So I would up the saturation, but this is why I won't up the saturation. So saturation basically makes whatever color that exists more saturated. So I bumped up the oranges and the yellows, and then I desaturated the green. But if I up the saturation, it's still going to saturate the green back to the green that was there before, and then make the colors that I saturated wildly uncomfortable to the eye. So that's why I'm not using saturation. Instead, I'm going to use vibrance. to make the colors that I did bump up the saturation on appear richer. So you see, before, after. Cool. I want to upload these pictures as a photo set, so I don't want there to be a drastic difference between all the pictures. So what I'll do is I'll copy all the settings. Cool. Then I'm done. Then I'll go to the next picture, which is from the same photo set, and then just paste those settings. Before, as much as the pictures are similar, the lighting does change, so it's best to still tweak even after you've pasted the settings. So you didn't have to re-edit this picture, it's all done, you're good. There is the before, and here's the after. Cool. So here's another photo set. So here, because I really liked the edit that I did before, what I went and did was this edit, took it and created a preset. Let's go to preset. It's my own. I called it Coconut V2. Then I just added there. I don't like how dark I appear in this one. So this is to show you that you need to always tweak your pictures, even if you have a preset, which is why I'm stressing so much the importance of developing your own editing style and not copying, because all the influencers in the world could share their presets with you, but they're not going to look the same on all your pictures. You still have to tweak them. So why not just develop your own style of editing and use that? Cool. And I want the pictures to look similar side by side. So anyway, here's the before, here's the after. Let me copy these settings, and then I'm going to use it on this picture. Paste, happy with it. Go to the next one, paste, happy with this one too. Last one, paste, done. And I have a photo set of pictures that look the same. So here they are. And that brings us to the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Please do subscribe and give it a thumbs up if you liked it. And I know the video was pretty long, but I wanted it to be as detailed as possible and just take you through a step-by-step process on how to edit your pictures. So I really hope you guys enjoyed the video, and let me know in the comment section, not the description box, in the comment section what other videos you guys would like me to do. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, and see you guys next week with another video. Bye.